You know, if you ask me to summarize how I understand the connection between faith and fitness, um, I'd have to say the good news of Jesus, which is an invitation into wholeness and goodness and freedom, has to be relevant for every part of my life. Otherwise, I feel like it's lacking somehow. And and the biblical authors, because they were Hebrew thinkers, they thought of the person as every part of the person integrated together as a whole. And so the message of good news, salvation, was really for the whole being. And the invitation to live our lives with God, empowered by God's Spirit, seems to me to be intended for the whole of who we are, including our bodies, our relationship with our bodies. Now, of course, that's not how most of us have been taught, and there's there's a lot of history to why we've diminished the role of the body, or even thought of the body as a kind of negative thing that leads us astray in our walk as disciples. So there's some reclamation that needs to happen, I think. But for me, this kind of journey of discovery started when I was in my mid-teens, and I was babysitting for a friend of my mum's who also happened to be a PE teacher. And she could see that I was struggling. I was not in a good place. I had patterns of disordered eating, the sorts of things that many young women struggle with. And so she suggested that I try this series of home workouts. And the surprising thing that happened was that through doing those workouts, I actually made friends with my body. This thing that I had developed quite a good deal of loathing for. I felt invited to make friends with it as a place of energy and goodness and strength. So that experience kind of set me up to not just enjoy movement and fitness, but also wonder at the ways that our coming to a place of wholeness has to include our experience in our bodies. And surely God wants to be with me in that process of becoming more and more whole. So that's what I love to explore with people. And I think that there's a huge amount of freedom that we're invited to experience.